lost in the legal shuffle. How a Saskatoon family is feeling about a recent court decision following the death of their loved one. Axing the federal gas tax, will that put Saskatchewan motorists in the driver's seat this summer? And the snow sweeping Saskatchewan.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. It's starting to feel like winter is never going to loosen its grip on us. Another system is packing a punch, and residents and municipalities are not quite done with snow clearing in many regions of Saskatchewan. As Jasmine Pelche tells us, what's happening in Prince Albert and area is a preview of what's ahead for many others.
We've been up here about 20 years, and we've never seen as much snow as we've had this winter.
Candle Lake resident Donna Litzenberger woke up this morning to see the snow had risen around her home.
It sticks to the shovel, or it sticks up to the snowblower and kind of bungs it up. So it's also very heavy, so hard on the back. Got to do just a little bit at a time.
Environment Canada says that some areas in central Saskatchewan still have more than 70 centimeters of snow on the ground. Recent mild temperatures have made the snow heavy, dense, and tough to clear.
Often easier to move this stuff as soon as it happens because it's fluffy, it hasn't compacted, there hasn't been this freezing and refreezing.
While Prince Albert has less snow than communities north of the tree line, snow clearing is still an ongoing process. Environment Canada says Prince Albert usually sees about 10 centimeters of snowfall during the month of April. But halfway through the month, the city has already received twice that. Prince Albert's annual operating budget for snow management was approved at about $1.5 million. The city of Prince Albert hasn't confirmed a cost for clearing operations so far, but provided CTV with a statement saying snow clearing costs are closely monitored and we regularly review spending as part of our budget oversight. As operations are still ongoing, we're not able to share a specific amount at this stage. The city manages its budget with a reserve in order to provide additional budget if needed for busy winter maintenance seasons. 3 centimeters fell in Prince Albert on Wednesday, with more expected headed into Thursday. The area has a 43-centimeter snowpack. Only time will tell how much snow residents can expect to see remaining on May 1st. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
Meanwhile, the city of Saskatoon says crews will be prepared for the snow. Plows, graders, and sanders will be out focusing on priority streets, including Circle Drive and Idlewild Drive. It's reminding people to watch for their blue and amber flashing lights and allow operators room to work safely. Drivers are also reminded to slow down and drive for the conditions. Transit riders may face delays if the weather causes collisions or bus stops are snowed in. They are encouraged to check the transit apps and websites for updated information. Jeff, I've yet to run into anybody that's happy about this latest dump of snow. Maybe you have?
No. I could lie and say, yes, lots of people. But generally speaking, PJ Kennedy out in Vanscoy. Yeah, he's happy. But other than that, most people are going, come on, Jeff, when's spring coming? And it looks like it's going to show up next week. But, keep your fingers crossed. We are keeping our eye on all of this snow that is precipitation. Sometimes it will show up as rain, particularly in the southern areas of the province. But we're dealing with snow, and it is an ongoing situation. It's just not 24 hours, might linger into parts of late Thursday, but as we make our way into the weekend and ultimately next week, temperatures are going to really jump up, and we'll talk about that later on.
News that Ottawa is reducing federal fuel taxes for the next few months is welcome news for Saskatchewan drivers. The reduction will kick in on Monday. Carla Schenkrick now on why some say it's just a small saving for what has become a very expensive time.
I think anything that lowers the price of gas would definitely help.
As fuel prices continue to fluctuate, a new federal tax break is promising some short-term relief for drivers. The measure is expected to lower prices by several cents per liter through the summer months, which could save this commuter a lot.
I mean, my vehicle went from about $130 or $120 up to, I think it was $183 the other day.
But not everyone is feeling the same pain at the pumps. This resident tries to limit the use of his car.
I think it's great. I do think, though, that if people didn't drive everywhere, people would be a lot better off.
And this driver is very happy with her decision to go electric.
Very smug about having purchased it. I think it was 4 or 5 years ago now. Yeah, just in time, really, it felt like.
Others say the conversation should go beyond the price of gas altogether.
I think we need actually more than gas prices reduced, to be honest. Our grocery prices are so high. If you consider the amount of increases that we've had in the last 30 years.
While the federal government moves to cut its portion of the tax, Premier Scott Moe said this.
We welcome affordability measures. That's something that we've been focused on in a different way.
Stopping short of promising any sort of cut on Saskatchewan's tax.
We're always, looking at what can we do to better serve the people of Saskatchewan in, what is an increasingly inflationary environment.
Experts say while drivers may notice a small drop come Monday, bigger factors are still at play.
We are dealing with a massive energy shock. It hasn't become apparent, I think, to a lot of Canadians and North American markets.
One of the main reasons, production shortfalls. This expert says don't expect any immediate relief as we head into summer travel season.
I don't see them going down at least until some point in later summer. These prices may come down a little bit in the short term.
The federal gas tax cut is expected to last until early September. Carla Shinkrook, CTV News, Saskatoon.
We are hearing from the family of a Saskatoon girl who was struck and killed while on her way to school 4.5 years ago. It's the first time a spokesperson has talked since Saskatchewan's appeal court upheld a decision to stay the charges against the driver. As Keenan Sorokon reports, the girl's family feels months of legal proceedings have diminished their hope that justice would be served for their loved one.
It never really got to a stage where we feel like there was representation of a victim.
Sarah Smokey Day, a spokesperson for the family of Bailey Maurice, says Charter of Rights and Freedom arguments have shaken their belief in the justice system. Maurice was killed after she was struck by a vehicle on her way to school in September 2021. Taylor Kennedy was charged with impaired driving causing death. Last week, the Saskatchewan Court of Appeal upheld a decision to stay the case, saying her rights were breached because the trial couldn't be completed in a reasonable amount of time. But Smokey Day feels Maurice has been overshadowed by charter rights arguments.
It's horribly disappointing and heartbreaking, but it also wasn't a huge surprise because of the way everything went from start to finish.
Kennedy's trial ultimately ended in December 2024, nearly 30 months after she was charged, far longer than the 18 months the Supreme Court has laid out as a reasonable time frame. This Jordan limit has seen thousands of trials thrown out across the country every year, and legal scholars are wondering if there's another way to proceed.
It has kind of crowded out a lot of the societal considerations that we might think ought to be relevant to whether that's a reasonable remedy or not.
Fair says a case currently before the Supreme Court could look at potential changes like going back to trial and examining lighter sentences instead of abandoning the case.
No one wants to have the state charging them with an offense for 2 years. But is that a good enough reason to say we're going to just dismiss the charge? In many cases, I think that's overkill.
Saskatchewan has a relatively low rate of cases that exceed the Jordan limit compared to other provinces. Year over year, 2.7% of offenses go beyond the limit, compared to the national average of 9.7%. The Ministry of Justice has yet to decide whether it will appeal to the Supreme Court, and as much as Smokey Day supports that, she's not optimistic Canada's top court will be considering the 9-year-old killed as she pushed her scooter along a crosswalk. Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Frontline workers are concerned the overdose situation in Saskatoon is going to get worse in the coming weeks. It follows an overdose alert issued by the province earlier this week and the closure of Prairie Harm Reduction. Stacey Hine now on the pressures on the streets.
The Saskatoon Fire Department says it's responded to 195 overdose calls in the past 2 weeks, already higher than any month so far this year. The Saskatoon Community Clinic says it's seeing that spike firsthand, with numbers now approaching last spring's surge. March alone hit 509 overdose responses from the fire department.
We are seeing numbers that are approaching, if not the same as the worst of the numbers from last spring.
The Saskatchewan Union of Nurses says the pressure is also showing up in Saskatoon hospitals.
Both have reported reported an increase in overdoses and those who use drugs accessing the ER, which, ERs are already beyond capacity, and so we're seeing more and more come in.
The fire department says nearly a third of recent overdose calls were within 5 blocks of Prairie Harm Reduction. The organization closed last week following the March 26 shutdown of its supervised consumption site when it lost its federal exemption. With it, access to a drug checking machine was lost, a key tool for identifying substances and informing alerts.
We're flying blind when we're doing a response. We don't know what folks have taken. We don't know what the unexpected substance is, so we don't know how to counteract that quickly.
The province says no decision has been made on a new location for the drug checking machine.
So because there's no exemption any longer, that machine can't be used, so we're just determining what will happen with it next.
In a statement, the Ministry of Health says there's no data at this time linking the recent spike in overdoses to the closure of Prairie Harm Reduction. But with one less organization, many are bracing for things to get worse.
There's just so many people that we already knew we weren't going to be able to keep up. And now we have one less provider doing the work.
Esther B. says many organizations are preparing for this to be the worst summer they've experienced. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Saskatchewan's mining sector is booming, but with the growth comes a challenge to find enough workers to get the jobs done. Parliamentary explains.
Nearly 3,000 people representing the province's mining industry gathered in Saskatoon for the 18th annual Saskatchewan Mining and Supply Chain Forum, marking an all-time attendance record for the event.
We have more mining investment in Saskatchewan. It's going to be close to $7 billion than this year, than Ontario, than Quebec, than BC. So Saskatchewan is where it's at for mining right now. And that's another reason that we've seen the success of this event.
As Saskatchewan's mining sector continues to grow, industry leaders say the challenge of meeting the workforce demand is also growing.
Our success is about our people, and so our future success is about our future people and our future workforce. So we're certainly putting a lot of focus into how do we build and train that future workforce.
Schwann says gatherings like this one are an opportunity to address the specific labor shortages within the industry.
Mechanical engineers, geological engineers, nuclear engineers. The U of S is going to be really important in that capacity. But the real crunch is on the skilled trades right now.
While the need for more workers is on the minds of many, Clark says the future is still looking bright for Saskatchewan's mining industry, so long as those challenges are addressed early.
It's interesting to see how other organizations are doing that. It's a common problem. It's a common problem across not just our industry and across Saskatchewan, but really across the country as well.
The two-day forum wraps up on Thursday with Premier Scott Moe scheduled to give the keynote address. Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Saskatchewan Polytechnic has announced another round of layoffs. The institution says 30 full-time and part-time employees received layoff notices this month. That includes 18 faculty, 9 professional services employees, and 3 out-of-scope employees. The layoffs are the result of an annual operational review. Sask Poly says it continues to face significant challenges as international enrollment has not rebounded, and it is not expected to in the next academic year. The school cites reduced federal immigration allowances as a reason for lower international enrollment. It's not known which campuses will be impacted. This is the latest string in cuts. Sask Polytechnic has issued dozens of pink slips over the last year. A Saskatchewan union is firing back against the NDP, which is demanding to know about a former member of the Saskatchewan Marshal Service who had faced a misconduct allegation. Last summer, an unidentified marshal resigned. The NDP filed a Freedom of Information request looking for records related to the investigation. It wants the details made public. The Saskatchewan Government and General Employees Union says allegations about individual workers must be handled through the appropriate process, through collective bargaining agreements, and respect confidentiality. It adds SGU members do not deserve to have their privacy threatened.
We represent our members, and I think our main concern right now is the reputational damage that this is trying to cause for the marshals. And it's not fair, and it's not warranted, and there's other ways they can go about getting their information instead of slamming one worker, one individual, multiple times in the press.
The unidentified marshal resigned from the service prior to the NDP's comments last summer. Saskatchewan leaders have spent the last few days gathered in Regina looking for ways to ensure future success for all communities, big and small. Donovan Mace has more.
With over 400 urban municipalities and another 300 rural councils in Saskatchewan, one Regina councillor is wondering how efficient policy decisions are across the province.
We have way too many politicians and way too many entities, and maybe we have to realign ourselves for success. We all do have some individual needs, but I think there's a pretty massive overlay of transportation, water, wastewater, environment.
It had Mancinelli posing a question to provincial ministers. Should Saskatchewan regionalize decision-making, investment, and corresponding benefits?
There should either be some type of amalgamation or regional participation, cooperation between the various urban centers and RMs to help fund light-needed assets.
But large urban centers are already seeing the bulk of federal and provincial grants.
Big cities received $14 million for infrastructure projects that they're doing. That helps build them, yay on them. What is the plans for communities between 100 and 5,000?
In no way will we ever force broad-based amalgamation across the province.
Despite that, the province says it is not leaving rural communities in the dust, adding the relationship between rural and urban Saskatchewan is critical.
Where do you think the thousands of people that work in our potash mines, which are in rural areas of our province, live? They live in our urban centers.
Now, while forced amalgamation is off the table, the government does say it is constantly looking for opportunities to increase collaboration, whether between RMs and RMs, communities and communities, or rural and urban centers. Donovan May, CTV News, Regina.
A new record low in provincial workplace injuries has been reported, but the number of employee fatalities have stayed the same compared to last year. Sierra D'Souza Butts on the improvements and the work that still needs to be done.
When it comes to safety in the workplace, the Saskatchewan Workers' Compensation Board feels the situation is improving provincially.
Our time loss injury rate, which is time loss claims plus fatality claims, dropped to 1.66 per 100 workers in 2025.
In 2025, the WCB received 17,401 injury workplace claims, the lowest ever. A result, the WCB credits to the combined efforts of workers, employers, and safety associations.
We're very confident in the future of WCB and how we're investing in strategic initiatives where we hope to reduce the cost of claims, reduce the number of claims, continue to do well in our investments.
As part of the board's report, WorkSafe Saskatchewan remains focused on 3 high-risk industries, including healthcare, transportation, and construction. The WCB has also noticed a change in what types of claims are being made.
We're seeing more psychological claims, more occupational disease claims. These are longer term, more complex claims, and they're more costly, including durations.
Although 89% of Saskatchewan workplaces reported 0 injuries or fatalities, there were 27 workers who died from workplace injury or illness.
These workers in Saskatchewan had their lives cut short because of work-related injuries and occupational diseases.
The board hopes they can prevent tragedies in the future with resources like WorkSafe Saskatchewan, a goal they feel everyone in the province is working towards. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
A global shortage of helium due to the conflict in the Middle East has had widespread effects, including here in Saskatchewan. Jacob Carr explains how it's affecting government operations and businesses in the province.
Helium is currently in short supply worldwide. Nearly a third of the world's helium resources from Qatar are stuck in the Middle East because of the closure of the Strait of Hormuz due to the U.S.-Iran conflict. But the Helium Developers Association of Canada says this may present an opportunity to take advantage of the abundance of helium deposits in Saskatchewan.
The good news is that we do have a significant helium resource. We've across, principally in Saskatchewan at this point. And we're good at this. We're very, very good at what we do and responsibly producing the product.
The provincial government, led by Energy and Resources Minister Chris Beaudry, just returned from a trip to Ottawa to advocate for federal policy changes that would support Saskatchewan's helium industry. The province currently provides around 3% of the world's total helium supply. The government has a goal to grow that number to 10% by 2030.
There are 34 critical minerals. 33 of them have standard tax treatment, and we're just asking for helium to have the same standard tax treatment that all other critical minerals have. That small change is going to be massive to industry, and that's going to unlock a lot of opportunity for us.
Regina businesses are also feeling the effects of the shortage. Balloon bar YQR is fully moving away from helium to air-filled products. Owner Tana Dietrich says that in 2018, a tank of helium cost about $200 as opposed to today's price of around $1,200.
We've always wanted to pivot away from it eventually, and this was sort of the moment that it's like, you know what, why don't we just take a hard turn and just dive into it rather than waiting and seeing if we're able to get it, what the cost is going to be, and just really lean into that side of the business.
The effects of a conflict on the other side of the globe being felt right here at home. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
Still to come, charges are laid following the death of a Canadian Navy member. Also the tale of two caucuses on Parliament Hill. You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us. It was a tale of two caucuses on Parliament Hill today as the Liberal government welcomed its newest members to mark its new majority status. The Conservatives were left defending its leader following a shocking floor crossing and declined support during this week's by-elections. Abigail Beeman reports.
A hero's welcome for the three MPs who secured the Liberals a majority, with newest floor crosser Marilyn Gladu front and center.
What a great group. I'm very excited to start building Canada strong for all.
And a fantastic addition.
Great, lots of love. Great to meet my new colleagues.
The Prime Minister has leaned on the word humility a lot in 24 hours.
We approach it with humility and determination. Canadians have placed their trust in the government's plan. We now have reinforcements to help implement that, and we're going to go straight to work.
But wasn't immune to asking for applause. With the caucus feeling so victorious, they cheered regular old MPs too. A stark contrast with the Conservative caucus in the basement.
Are you worried about the four caucus members?
Who leaned on the idea of unity.
Caucus is united and united behind a leader that has a vision.
Our caucus is united behind Pierre Poilievre.
Pierre Poilievre and our Conservative colleagues are the last hope to save our country. That's why we were united.
In the face of four floor crossers, not everyone shared their thoughts.
What can Conservatives do to make their message resonate more with Canadians?
While one MP put it simply.
What needs to change for the party to go up in the poll?
More votes.
Poilievre said this week he isn't going anywhere, as the Liberals say they're still talking with potential floor crossers, and everyone wonders about the next move with a razor-thin majority. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Two Royal Canadian Navy members are facing multiple service charges following an investigation into the death of a petty officer with the military. Paul Hollingsworth is in Halifax, near where the incident took place last year.
For generations, this has been a major military port. The Navy has sailed out of these waters in times of war and peace. Now it's the backdrop for an investigation into the death of Petty Officer Second Class Gregory Applin, who died in Halifax in January of 2025. The Navy says Applin died as a result of an incident during small boat operations in Bedford Basin, which is a body of water attached to Halifax Harbor. Following the death of Applin last year, the Canadian Fleet Atlantic commander described how a vessel called a rib overturned in the basin.
As the rib was en route back to dockyard, an incident occurred which caused the rib to capsize, throwing both sailors into the water.
And now charges have been laid. Master Sailor David Terry has been charged with criminal negligence causing bodily harm and negligent performance of military duties. Sailor First Class Alexandra Garrison faces the same charge, along with dangerous operation of a conveyance, which is a vehicle causing death. In a statement, the Navy said those accused deserve every opportunity to defend themselves. Applin was a weapons engineering technician who joined the Navy in 2005. He was 38. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Halifax.
The White House says discussions about a second round of talks with Iran are ongoing and productive.
We feel good about the prospects of a deal. The president mentioned that in his interview yesterday, and it's obviously in the best interest of Iran to meet the president's demands. I think he's made his red lines in these negotiations very clear to the other side, and so we are continuing to see how these conversations go.
The talks in Pakistan last weekend broke down without an agreement, but this morning, U.S. President Donald Trump said he thinks the war with Iran is close to over. Tehran has demanded a truce between Israel and its proxy Hezbollah as a condition to return to talks with the U.S. Today, Iran threatened to block trade through the Red Sea as well as the Gulf and Sea of Oman if the Americans don't lift their blockade on Iranian ports. Meanwhile, Israel's security cabinet convened today to discuss a possible Lebanon ceasefire. It happened as Israel said it continued attacks against Hezbollah. The military has been instructed to keep reinforcing a security zone in southern Lebanon, while at the same time, envoys negotiate a peace deal with the Lebanese government. The Israelis say they have two main objectives in the negotiations: dismantling Hezbollah and sustainable peace. The two countries held a first round of rare direct talks in Washington yesterday. Israel says Hezbollah fired 40 rockets this morning.
Hi, my name's Sam Bick. I'm one of the people who tried to kill the president, and I'm here on behalf of Assassins with Sorry Grateful. And if you want to come out and maybe take your best shot and win a prize, then you can come out to the refinery as part of Live 5 season and see if you can win something. Now, if you want to get your tickets, they're at live5.ca or on the boards. Hey, Jeff, what's the weather going to be like?
Well, Samuel, it's going to be a bit on the cool side, but we're not going to talk about the preview night, which is tomorrow night, but we will talk about opening night. And by the way, Samuel Bick was a real guy, and yes, and so was that Santa suit. So some interesting things you will learn in the musical Assassins. Friday, 7:30 is when the show officially opens. Assassins opens at as part of the Live 5 Independent Theater Series. 0 degrees for a daytime high, so you'll be indoors, keeping nice and warm at the refinery while you're watching this show. And once again, you can get your tickets at live5.ca. Break a leg with the show. Now let's take a look and see what we've got going on with our numbers right now. Currently, it is -5 in Saskatoon, -6 in Prince Albert, and -4 in the Battlefords, and kind of windy in Saskatoon already, breezy in these other two locations. And we should look at that. It's still snowing in Prince Albert. I know, it's been that kind of day. Let's take a look at Saskatoon's almanac. That 5-degree temperature, that was at midnight because temperatures have been dropping all the time. -4 was our low temperature so far. 11 degrees would be typical for this time of year. 22, the record tie, a three-way tie from 1926, 1941, and 1963. The record cold temperature, -17 in 1907, and the sun was going to go down at 8:04.
Coming up, remembering the Titanic, Saskatchewan's connection to the ship said to be unsinkable.
The Sheepdogs are coming back to Saskatchewan. Thursday on Your Morning, we are in conversation with the band ahead of tour stops right here in the province.
All right, let's take a look at our cloudy situation through the live lens of Skycam. So right now, there's no snow, there's no rain, but likely we are getting some. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's take a look at the satellite and radar shot here. So here is the big deal of the day. Basically, this low pressure area is anchored down the states. It's going to creep across Montana into the Dakotas. But on the northern edge of that, that's where we are going to see all this precipitation. And it's going to be the first of a couple of rounds of precipitation as we make our way into the next 48 hours or so. So -5 in Saskatoon, -6 in Prince Albert, -4 in the Battlefords, as we mentioned earlier on. Kind of breezy in Saskatoon and the Battlefords right now. Our hot spot today in the province, Estevan at 17, the cold spot, Collins Bay at -28. Currently, it is -8 in Lloydminster, but 15 degrees warmer in Swift Current, where it is 7 degrees, and it's 17 in Estevan. Wow. 2 degrees in Moose Jaw and Regina, -3 in Yorkton. On to our central part of our province, and temperatures ranging from 1 on the plus side. That's in Kindersley, but it gets as cold as -9 in both Waskesiu and Melfort. A number of locations locations at -8 degrees. And as we make our way up north, we've got ourselves -8 in Stony Rapids and Key Lake, -9 in South End and Collins Bay, and a stretch of -7 degree temperatures across the top there. -7 in Buffalo Narrows, La Ronge, and the Sandy Bay Island Falls. Down south, what do we got? Well, we've got some warm temperatures in the southeastern part of the province. Carlisle, like Estevan, at 17 degrees. It's 13 in Maple Creek, but getting kind of cold by the time we get to Last Mountain Regional Park, where it is -5 degrees, -3 in Melville. Now on to our futurecast. So as I mentioned, you can see that sort of a bit of a bullseye sliding into the Dakotas there. On the northern edge, we have that snowy system that is impacting many parts of our province. It's got a pretty big, decent wingspan, and there may be a little something following it up as we make our way into the evening hours. So there are still snowfall warnings in effect just south of Saskatoon and the Battlefords, and but it does include the city of Regina, so it could be quite a messy situation. Check the highway hotline if you're planning on going anywhere tomorrow. Cloudy skies in northern Saskatchewan, mainly cloudy skies, and temperatures of around -3 degrees. -3 thereabouts for Meadow Lake and Spiritwood tomorrow. Expecting some snow in Kindersley and Rosetown. Temperatures of -8 in Kindersley, -7 in Rosetown. Expecting substantive snow for Leader, Outlook, and Swift Current. All three locations hitting -7 for a daytime high. -3 with flurries in Maple Creek. Expecting snow. This could be 5 to 10 centimeters of snow, or maybe a bit more as we head towards the eastern side of the province. Temperatures of around -7 for Yorkton, Regina, and Moose Jaw. 2 on the minus side for Estevan, with cloudy skies. Quite a contrast from today in terms of daytime temperatures. And temperatures of around -7 degrees as well for east central Saskatchewan, expecting the heaviest snow in the Watrous and Humboldt area tomorrow. Here we go with the Battlefords, dropping down to -10 tonight with snow showing up, and then by when everything is all said and done, it could be up to 10 centimeters of snow, and -5 for a high on Thursday. Friday, 6 on Saturday, but then double-digit temperatures, including 20 degrees on Tuesday as we make our way into next week. We've got ourselves an overnight temperature of -12 for the Prince Albert area. 30% chance of flurries with a risk of freezing drizzle. Cloudy conditions for most of the day, but some evening snow showing up. 1 degree on Friday, 4 on Saturday, 5 on Sunday, but then look at that. Double-digit temperatures on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, mainly sunny, and 14 on Tuesday in particular. Snowy and windy conditions tonight for Saskatoon, or at least flurries and windy conditions if they show up, but snow and wind tomorrow. And we've got ourselves a high of -7 degrees, up to 10 centimeters of snow. Well, it could be a little more than that. -1 degree on Friday, 4 on Saturday, Sunday 7. That's still below seasonal, but then above seasonal temperatures, including 20 degrees, the expected high on Tuesday. Some big news for Madonna fans. She's got a new album on the way. That's a sneak peek at one of the tracks on the album, which is titled Confessions on a Dance Floor Part 2. That's right, it's a follow-up to the original 2005 album, which featured hits like Hung Up. Madonna confirmed that the new album will be released on July 3rd. It'll be her first full-length album release in 7 years. 10 years after his death, David Bowie's career is being explored in a whole new way. This new multimedia show in London aims to give audiences a sense of what it was like to see the music legend live. Material from Bowie's archive include rare footage, concert footage, photos, and handwritten lyrics are projected onto the 4 11-meter-high walls. David Bowie, You're Not Alone, is currently booking shows from April 22nd to October 10th. The team behind The White Lotus has revealed where the next season of the HBO comedy drama, does that make it a dramedy? I don't know, will be set. The original series from Mike White is now filming its 4th season on the French Riviera. An official synopsis says this time around the show will follow a new group of guests and employees at the fictional luxury hotel chain as they attend the Cannes Film Festival. A source told Variety the White Lotus cast and crew will be on the ground during the actual festival next month, but it's not clear if they'll be filming. Really?
We'll have to wait and see.
Will they be filming there? I think maybe.
Maybe. All right, time for Pick of the Day. It's the photos before the storm.
It is indeed, although these ones look a little stormy. These clouds, this comes to us from Gwen, and Gwen is asking, or first of all, we noticed these interesting clouds about noon on April 14th, in other words, yesterday, just south of Colville. What kind of cloud is it? And I'm not exactly sure, Gwen, but these might be something called asperatus clouds or asperitis clouds, and they are a fairly newly coined phenomenon. I think 2017 is when they were officially said, yes, this is a type of cloud, and they're relatively rare, so that's a pretty cool photo if that's what they are. The next one from Kim. This image came in for us on the weekend. Hi, Jeff. I'm not sure if you have any photos yet, but we saw a pair of pelicans at the weir during a morning walk on Saturday, April 11th, around 11 a.m. That is a great shot. Thank you, Kim. And finally from Joan. Hello. Calving season is underway on our farm. We pushed the start dates back in hopes of having less snow, but Mother Nature is having none of it this year. The bright spot is the sun sets later every evening, and we are loving the longer days. Have a good one. We're loving the longer days too, and best of luck with calving season, Joan. And if you'd like to send us an image, you can do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca. Please put Pick of the Day in the subject line.
Still to come on CTV News, a Saskatchewan community's connection to the Titanic. We find out what was named in honor of some of the victims. On this day 114 years ago, the Titanic sank in the North Atlantic Ocean hours after it struck an iceberg, killing more than 1,500 people. The legacy lives on through movies, books, and exhibits, but the tragedy also has a connection with a Saskatchewan community. Virginia DeClute explains.
It's been 114 years that a ship set sail in Ireland to cross the Atlantic. It was said to be unsinkable.
They couldn't see the dark iceberg because it was nighttime, and again it sunk because of the iceberg, and they couldn't turn fast enough.
The RMS Titanic sank on April 15, 1912, with over 2,000 people on board. Many were headed to Canada, including Charles Melville Hayes.
He had gone overseas to try and acquire more funding to keep building his railway, and of course he was one of the people that perished on the Titanic.
His body was located weeks later by the ship CS Minia.
I can't quote it for word, but it was just to the fact that if we keep pushing things at this speed, disaster will happen. And it's kind of crazy that disaster happened on the ship that he was on coming back to Canada.
Today, a Saskatchewan town carries his legacy.
He had a vision, is what it was, and he wanted to make Melville the hub, and we are the hub between Winnipeg and Vancouver. We are the main hub of the now CN Rail, and we have so much history tied with the railway and Charles Melville Hayes.
The brother of Moose Jaw's mayor at the time, Frank Uber Maybury, also perished in the disaster, along with British brothers Louis and Owen Bront from England. They wanted to reach the Capel Valley because a relative had already settled in Saskatoon.
Well, the first movie I remember going to was my dad and my mom taking us to the Titanic movie. It was in the early 50s somewhere.
Ulrich's father crossed the Atlantic with his sister in 1913, a year after the disaster.
So it was very important that he realized that he came across safely when this luxury ship sank, and he just wanted us to see how he did come to Canada and how important it was that he was safe.
Following the disaster, the small community of Murray petitioned for and eventually changed its name to Titanic to honor the victims. Today, all that's left are a sign and a cemetery to remind us of its memory. Today we remember those who perished at sea, for theirs was not only a story of class and technology, but of countless people who crossed an ocean in hope of a better future. Virginia DeClute, CTV News, Yorkton.
When we come back, a recall alert for anyone who enjoys convenience store sandwiches. And later, the support stuffy for one adorable monkey.
All right, welcome back. Taking a look at our rural forecast for tomorrow, and yeah, it's got snow in it. We knew this was going to be the case, but it looks like the heaviest snow will be south of the Yellowhead, and it looks like it's substantive snow. We're doing this general thing where it's 10 to 15 centimeters of snow towards the eastern side of the province. That's where we could see a bit more, but right now that's what we're going to concentrate on. And then as we take a look at southern Saskatchewan, particularly in the south central part of the province, it's not just snow. It's warm enough that it might be a rain-snow mix, so it's a messy situation for tomorrow, and temperatures are certainly colder than they would be this time of year, because it's not usually snowing this time of year, but it is this year. All right, what's it going to be like in the Yellowgrass area? Yes, snow and windy conditions. Definitely be checking the highway hotline, because there could be visibility issues in many places. There already are traffic not recommended alerts out in Saskatchewan, so please check the highway hotline. And once again, Yellowgrass is one of those places where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
A recall has been issued for some sandwiches sold at 7-Elevens in Saskatchewan, as they might be contaminated with listeria. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency says the recalled products were distributed in Saskatchewan, Alberta, and BC. They include Hungry Man subs, roast beef wedges, egg, sausage, and cheddar on an English muffin, egg, bacon, and cheddar on an English muffin, chicken Caesar wraps, and spicy buffalo chicken wraps. Each had a best before date between April 12th and 15th. So far, no one has reported getting sick after eating them, but the CFIA is cautioning anyone who might have bought any of these sandwiches not to consume them and to report any illnesses potentially linked to them to their doctor. The Prince Albert Raiders continue to dominate the Saskatoon Blades.
Glove down by Barrett. Plays it ahead to the Blades line. Sarkanoff for Coots. Ducks in a shot. He scores!
The Raiders shut out the Blades 4-0 at SaskTel Centre last night. Saskatoon has now scored just 1 goal in 3 games against PA, leading the series 3-0. The Raiders can sweep the series with a win tonight. Game time is 7 o'clock. Turning to local gas prices now. The average price in Saskatoon is just under $1.72 a litre. The lowest price in town is $1.55.9. On Saskatchewan markets, Cameco jumped $3.89 today, and Nutrien finished the day at $100.80. Coming up, a zoo in Washington welcomes its newest resident. Then, what has this monkey snuggling with its new stuffy?
Select Hair Services brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Get comfortable and settle in with these top shows all right here tonight on CTV. Well, visitors to the Smithsonian National Zoo in Washington, D.C. are getting their first new look at its newest resident. This is Lin Mai, a rare Asian elephant calf born last month. She's the first elephant born at the zoo in 25 years. Her mother was aggressive toward her at birth, so an older female elephant is helping to raise her. Caretakers describe her as playful, curious, and full of personality, and looks so tiny in comparison. Right?
But huge.
Yeah. Looking happy, though.
Yeah. Thank goodness there was someone else. There was another elephant there, another pachyderm to take over those motherly doo-doos. Yeah.
For sure. All right. Well, you remember Punch the monkey?
I do.
With his emotional stuffy. Well, a baby monkey at a zoo in Mexico has been given its own teddy bear, and they are connecting really well. The teddy is meant to be a companion since its inexperienced mother is unable to care for it at this time. The monkey is doing well, we hear, and zookeepers are giving him baby formula, vitamins, and protein cereal to keep him healthy. And look how happy he looks with his little stuffy.
It's not a little stuffy, it's a big stuffy.
It is.
So,
a little bed for him.
As long as he can snuggle up to it and feel comfort and cared for, that's the important thing.
This is true. Yeah. We're not going to feel very comforted with your flowers.
No, you are not. Let's take a look and see what tomorrow has to offer. And guess what? It's snow.
And wind.
And wind. Snow and wind. But the good news is the wind backs off later in the afternoon, but it'll still be snowing. And those temperatures, -9, -8, -8. Hey, it's only about 20 degrees lower than seasonal, so huzzah. Huzzah.
Yeah.
There you go. So
we'll just skip ahead to next
exactly.
week.
Exactly. Meltomatic 5000. Woohoo!
Thanks for watching. Have a good night.